Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and now we've come to the fourth and final Futurama TV movie, which being Into the Wild Green Yonder. Yes, Into the Wild Green Yonder. I gotta say, as I stated when I reviewed Bender's Game, I have seen all four Futurama TV movies, but it had been a while, and especially since, with me reviewing them, obviously had to give them another watch. And, I remembered a good chunk of the first one, Bender's Big Score, and this, Into the Wild Green Yonder. Because a lot happening in this, and, with each of the Planet Express characters in different situations and and funny moments with them, I tell ya. So, yeah, and for this being this being the fourth and final Futurama TV movie, and especially when, Season 7 would pick up where it last left off, as we all know, in the episode Rebirth. But anyways, I'll go ahead and read the description / the story, as always. The team visits New Vegas. Leela tries to save ecosystems. Fry gets mind-reading abilities, useful at the poker championship. Bender has an affair with the robot mafia boss's wife. Can the team stop Wong's space mini-golf project? So with Into the Wild Green Yonder, as I said, a lot of things happening in this, and, the way that this episode starts off, in space, we get, the thing, with, the red dwarf, stuff like that. We see a blue dwarf, I think, a green dwarf. We also see a violet dwarf, and the violet dwarf, very important in the story. And the opening to it, because we see Mars Vegas. And Seth MacFarlane actually sings a song, for the intro of Into the Wild Green Yonder. Actually a pretty good song. And Seth MacFarlane, he's a fantastic singer. And, him being involved a little bit in Futurama, he did the voice, just one line, where he did the voice of Seymour, Fry's dog, in one of the last episodes of Season 10, so if anybody remembers that. So Seth MacFarlane, he's the singing voice of the Mars Vegas singer. Again, a pretty good song, and, opening the TV movie, and, of course, as always, the Planet Express ship crashing into a TV screen. And so basically, Mars Vegas, literally being blown up because Amy's parents are planning to build a new Mars Vegas, and basically, wiping out life on Mars, trimming the grass and, getting rid of, the animals that are on Mars, the creatures, and, Leela is kind of against this, and throughout this, and especially these group of women, protesters who are against what Leo Wong is doing, and one of the women that's a part of this, rival group named Frida Waterfall. Okay, is there anybody whose their last name is Waterfall? I have no doubt. And Frida Waterfall being voiced by Phil Hendry. Yeah, I think I got the last name right. Basically, because Frida Waterfall has a manly voice. So, and basically, there's one last living creature that Leo Wong and Leela stumble upon. It's called a leech. sucking like little crawly creatures, that's the best I can describe. And, as Liu Wang describes them, like it's a desert leech, and Leela grows attached to it, but even though, because she's being attacked by it, like, just like nibbling on her, even at one point going for her eye, like, that's painful. But, she still likes it and adores it. But even, like, say, when it gets more worse, of it attacking her, she stomps on it with her foot. And Liu Wang kills the other leeches by using poisonous cement, and like to kill like the critters, stuff like that. And so, thus, new Mars Vegas is being built, and it'll be much better according to the Wongs, and especially like at one point Liu mentions about a much better strip club, and Bender, he's all down for that. And we of course see New Mars Vegas and how it looks, and we see the Planet Express crew there. They're having a good time, and even say them gambling, like, at those machines, you pull the lever, and Zoidberg, at one point, he's broke. But also, for Fry, and as I read the story/description, he at one point accidentally, like, got hit by one of the protesters, the women protesters. One of them, their necklace, flew off and basically, like, got jammed in Fry's, the top of Fry's forehead. And something about that necklace, it's powerful. There's something to it. That causes Fry to read minds, and he starts to hear what everybody's saying in their heads, As I said, him reading minds. And, he can't take this, and, like, stepping outside is just too much for him, too much. And then he stumbles upon a new friend named Hutch, also being voiced by Peter Hendry. Hutch offers Fry a tinfoil, like, so, like, some people would, like, wear tinfoils and, like, antennas, you know what I'm talking about. So basically, with him having that on, he cannot hear people's thoughts and what they're saying in their heads. He can't read minds. So with the tinfoil, he's perfectly fine. So, and as I said, like, Fry finding a new friend, which being Hutch, and they become friends instantly. For Bender, well, at one point, because he's at the robot strip club, and he falls for, like, a really hot, sexy robot stripper, and, he goes to the stripper's, like, dressing room, and wouldn't you know it, the boss, like, the leader/boss of the robot mafia gang, which being Dawnbot. Yeah, Dawnbot. Dawnbot is the stripper's husband, and he, she's his wife. But of course, Bender and the stripper robot, they hit it off. It's pretty funny. And also for Fry, because he can read minds, actually, he figures out, like, with him reading minds, he can be really good at gambling, and thus he enters in the gambling, poker championship, as well as Bender. So both of them enter in the poker championship, and it's pretty funny. The hosts of the poker championship are Penn and Teller, but only Penn Jillette is the only one that, we hear his voice, being voiced by the Penn Jillette. For Teller, well, I mean, even, like, I'm on the IMDb page, Teller himself is credited, but, of course, we don't hear him speak. That's the thing of Teller's character, with him alongside with Penn Jillette, we know that he doesn't speak. I mean, we've heard him speak, but again, that's part of the character that he does, and it's pretty funny, because, I mean, you think at first that, well, he's just there being quiet, but no, apparently Teller is dead. Like, okay. Like, what the heck? His head is in a jar, so, and, oh gosh, like, and a little bit, as the poker championship goes on, when we cut back to Penn and Teller, we see in Teller's container, his head is decomposing. And even at one point, a rat, like, got one of his eyes. Oh my gosh, like, why would they do that? Well, that's just what the people of Futurama did. So, what can we do? So Fry, he's getting really good at the poker championship, as well as Bender. And, you think at first that Fry would win at this, even, like, reading those, like, part of the poker championship, what they're saying, even Lur. Lur is a part of the poker championship, and, he seems pissed and such, but what he's saying in his head is like, I need a hug, and even at one point, Fry does go for a hug. He hugs Lur, and Lur gets emotional. Okay, and unfortunately, no, Fry doesn't win the poker championship. Bender does. And a little bit later, a little bit earlier and before the poker championship, Don Bott's wife, the stripper robot, gave Bender a lucky robot's foot, I want to say, which actually was like the foot from Don Bott. Like, it was cut off. It was pretty funny. And Don Bott, well, I think he knows what's going on. He's on to Bender. And at one point after the poker championship is done and over with, we see Bender and the stripper robot. They're digging up holes and, like graves, basically. Well, and that's because Don Bott and his two mafia robots, they shoot the crap out of them. And, well, you think that they're dead by this point because of how many times they got shot. Even, like, the Planet Express crew found out about this, and apparently they were going to dig their own graves as well. And Fry, he received one last voicemail/voice message, from Bender, and this was right when he was gonna get killed, It was pretty funny. But, no, it's obvious. Thankfully, Bender and the stripper robot, they come out of the ground, and they survived, and basically Don Robot, what he did was he shot them, and he gave them a warning. And Bender and the stripper robot, they say their goodbyes, and that's the last we see of the stripper robot. Like, I actually forgot about that, and I was wondering when I gave it another watch, I was like, are we going to see more of her? Is this going to continue? Nope, it doesn't. That's it. Oh well. So more on Leo Wong, tearing down more of, like, Mars and, putting in the rest of Mars Vegas. Also, Leo Wong is putting in and installing golf courses, like, out in space, and pretty interesting, especially, like, one moment where, like, shooting a giant golf club to, like, I want to say an asteroid, and, like, you have to get to the asteroid, and, like, gosh, it's pretty funny. So even, like, say a giant golf course with King Kong, sometimes, like, in golf courses, like with figures of animals, whatever, and going inside the mouths, you know what I'm talking about. So something like that with a King Kong course. It's pretty funny. And Leela, still against what Leo is doing, and, she wants to protect and save nature, and not to mention that there's, an asteroid that has life on it, and, a moment where, her, Fry, and Bender on the Planet Express ship, they discover it, and one funny moment where Bender, he discovers it on the Spockoscope, like, it's a joke, in referencing the scope that Spock uses in the original series that flashes blue. You know what I'm talking about. It's it's a good joke. So again, discovering an asteroid, that has life on it, and of course, again, the violet dwarf being involved in this. And again, Leela joining the women protesters, against what Leo is doing. And even at one point, because, they can, Leela and the rest of them confront Leo, and Nixon happens to be there playing golf, his body. And there's one moment where a runaway golf cart runs over Nixon's body. And I mean, I think, Leela and the protester women, they kind of accidentally nudged the golf cart. And, well, yeah, Nixon, he's upset by this, and he's pissed. And he has them under arrest, but of course they flee. So... And even at one point, Leela and the protest women, they say, that they should have a mascot for, what this is that they're doing, and so on. And Leela recommends, the leech that she managed to retrieve and save. There was another leech, apparently, that survived. Or maybe it was the same one. I kind of forget, but, she is retrieving it from the Planet Express building. Zoidberg was this close to eating it, but of course Leela, took it. And Fry, because he sees what Leela's doing, and, I think he's okay with it. And, even at one point, Fry... he meets up with Hutch once again, and Hutch tells him that, he wants to tell him something, but, he has to take his tinfoil off his head, so, to read his mind, what it is that Hutch wants to tell him. But nope, Hutch hits a bottle on Fry's head, knocking him unconscious. He brings Fry to this secret society where everybody in the secret society are also wearing tinfoils, and Hutch tells Fry that he's the key to saving the universe, and Fry, says that he gets that a lot. Well, I mean, Fry, because he had been through so much, he had been frozen, traveling years into the future, just so much to Fry, it's obvious, Fry being the key to just about anything, don't you think? So the members of the secret society, where they're wearing the tinfoils, they tell Fry that, he's the universe's only hope, and, of course, talking about the Violet Dwarf, and they need to save the Violet Dwarf, and, they want to do just like what the protest women and Leela, what they're doing. So, yeah. They recommend to Fry that he should, go undercover and get hired by Leo. And, yeah, of course, yeah, Fry does get hired after Fry, was reading Leo's minds and repeating the words that Leo was saying in his head. It's pretty funny. And, even, one moment where, yeah, because Leo and Fry are there, and Bender as well, and Amy, construction going on outside in space, there better be, an invisible force field or something, because they are literally out in space with no spacesuits. I think probably so, And, things are not looking good between both father and daughter. And, of course, I'm referring to Leo and Amy. Amy was a professional golf player, I think. And Leo said that Amy was fat? I think so, yeah. And even Leo's saying that, he sees Fry as much of a child to him, a son to him, and Amy just getting pissed off about this and is really just had enough of what her father is saying. And yeah, a little bit later, Amy does join Leela and the group of women protesters. So, obviously, even at one point, Bender asks Fry if he can borrow Fry's phone, and, well, even say at one point, Nixon called in Zap Bradigan to help find and track down and arrest Leela and the women protesters. And Zap Bradigan gets help from Bender, who volunteered to help. And yeah, so that happened, I think, yeah, right before the whole sequence where Fry, Leo, Amy, and Bender were there, and Bender asking Fry for his phone, because obviously Bender doing something suspicious. Then later on, we see that Fry is like, a night guard, basically, like, watching outside of any suspicion, and he stumbles upon Frida, hammering down a sign, and Fry actually asks Frida to leave Leela a message, because he's on their side, although I don't know. He didn't get the chance to tell... maybe he did. No, he did, but, what happens with Frida a little bit later, and when I get to that. So yeah, Fry tells Frida that he's on their side, and, he's undercover, and yeah, it's obvious, because, with him being undercover, go figure. We also see, back at Planet Express, what's going on with Professor Farnsworth, Hermes, and Zoidberg. Well, the thing is that the three of them, they are on Leo Wong's side, and at one point, like, Farnsworth was basically at one point took their work chips out, and, they're no longer employed at Planet Express, and to Zoidberg and Hermes, Farnsworth removing their work chips, it's painful to them, but when they're asked to make a delivery for Leo Wong, well, they're back in business, and Farnsworth putting their work chips back in, and thus they make the delivery, but they unfortunately get caught / captured by Leela and the women protesters, along with Amy, and Hermes' wife. Yeah, Hermes' wife joined in the group, as well as the lady news anchor, alongside with Morbo, because she joined them. And, yeah, so Farnsworth, Zoidberg, and Hermes, they're captured. Yeah, it's oh my gosh, just pretty funny. And just like that, like, basically, because, like, they spray painted the Planet Express ship to pink because they're all wearing pink. Like, looks like they're dressed up for, like, say, Barbie or something. But anyways, but also, like, what happens to Frida? Because she wasn't with them when they captured the Planet Express crew. She was still, like, painting signs and to hammer them on the ground, And she starts hearing a voice. And apparently the voice that she's hearing, and we would hear a little bit later on in the film, is called the Dark One. And the Dark One basically, like, telling Frida that, like, she's failed or something like that and hasn't pleased him, And so the Dark One basically kills Frida. Like, we don't see how the Dark One kills Frida, but, the Dark One kills Frida and she's dead. And she didn't get the chance to tell Leela, like, what Fry said, so it's a shame. And more on Fry, because at one point, he got knocked out once again. What was the point of knocking him out again? Because, he's with the society group with the tinfoil hats, and they're in a different location now. They're on Mars, somewhere in the bowels of Mars, in the caves of Mars, I should say. And one of them, like, basically, like, gives Fry a backstory of, like, with showing holographic footage of, like, species that were in harmony and peace. And, like, there's a snake and a frog, and I think, yeah, like, the frog ate the snake, and things got worse, and with creatures evolving, and also came in the Dark Ones, and, mentioning about the Violet Dwarf, stuff like that, again, like, sometimes, like, these details and so many words, like, as I explained, and when I did my review of Bender's Game, a bit difficult to keep up with and trying to concentrate and to know what they're saying, if you get what I'm saying. And at one point, Leela calls Fry to know about his whereabouts, and Fry asked Leela and wondering if he got his message, like, because he told Frida to, tell Leela, but of course, as we all know, Frida got killed, murdered, and she didn't get the chance to tell Leela. And Leela thinking that Fry killed Frida Waterfall, but, like, why would she think that Fry would kill Frida Waterfall? Since when would he murder somebody? And basically, like, Leela asks, like, where is Fry? And basically Fry tells Leela that he's, somewhere in, the bowels of Mars. And it's pretty funny because, like, the camera pans and we see that Leela and Fry, they're, like, on the other side of, like, the walls, like, you get what I'm saying. It's pretty funny. And actually, Fry's phone, because, yeah, we cut to Zap Brannigan, Kif, and Bender overhearing Leela and Fry's conversation. Because, yeah, Bender doing something to Fry's phone, and, and what they would do next. And, yeah, oh, Bender, you sneaky robot. So Fry and Leela, they meet up, and, Fry did come alone, but he had no idea that, his phone was hijacked and so on. And Zap Brannigan's ship rising and, telling Leela that she's under arrest, and, with the help of the protest women on the Planet Express ship, using a magnet, and her boots get attached to the magnet, and she grabs Fry by the head, and, Fry's captured and put in the cage alongside with Farnsworth, Hermes, and Zoidberg. And a little chase that happens where Zap Brannigan's ship chases after the Planet Express ship, and chasing them through the King Kong golf course. It's pretty funny. Like, the Planet Express ship going inside of King Kong's mouth, Zap Brannigan's ship going through King Kong's nostrils, and they come out through the other nostril. It's pretty funny. But eventually, Zap Brannigan captures the Planet Express ship and, placing them under arrest. And, well, at one point, the women protesters, Leela and Amy, Hermes' wife, and the news anchor woman, they have Zap Brannigan and Kif at gunpoint. However, Bender is behind them, and he has them at gunpoint with a lot of guns, and yeah, they're no match for Bender. And in the court scene, oh gosh, it's pretty funny. One of the judges, and basically there's a lot of judges, and their heads in containers. One of them being Snoop Dogg. Yeah, Snoop Dogg making a cameo in this Futurama film. Oh gosh, it's hilarious. And I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, there's a little bit of rap from Snoop Dogg. It's pretty funny. So after the whole court case scene, Fry goes back and meets up with the society group with tinfoil hats, and that's just what I'm calling them. So after the whole court... So after the court case scene, Fry goes back and meets with the society group wearing tinfoil hats, and that's pretty much all I'm calling them, the society group with tinfoil hats, because it's easy, and it's obvious. Well, they have Fry use a device called the Omega device, and basically it could, take care and defeat the Dark One, basically, like, destroy it and so on. And we see Leela and the group of protest women, in jail. And at one point, Bender breaks through the wall, and he's basically breaking them out. And, he's saying that, with him doing this, he would, break 15 felonies, stuff like that. And, that's Bender for you and what he's done in the show. So there's that. And it's funny. And, Bender just with so many hilarious moments. So with Bender and the group of protest women escaping prison and, with them trying to find a way to get past the guards and, flashing the lights, well, they make, causing a distraction, and they dress up Bender as, a lady robot, and, well, that distraction doesn't really work because they literally just shoot the crap out of him. So that's pretty funny. But they, of course, get out of there, and a pretty cool moment with Bender, because, we know that Bender, he can bend things, because he's a bending robot, and, he literally bends down, one of the prison jail, walls, so they get out, and basically Bender calls in for backup, giving the signal. The Planet Express ship comes in, and yeah, Farnsworth, Zoidberg, Hermes, and Scruffy, the janitor, all of them helping Bender and the women protesters. And a little bit earlier, because we see that Zoidberg, Hermes, and Farnsworth and Scruffy, they were cleaning and scrubbing off the Planet Express ship because, yeah, it was spray painted pink, and I think they're repainting it. Even for Zoidberg, he vomits on the Planet Express ship. The same tone of color, which, oh my gosh. It's gross, but it is funny. So yeah, and so after that, and, a little bit later, because, they help Bender and the protest woman, as I said, and they head off to what happens next. There's a huge ceremony that Leo Wong hosts, and golly, the crowd that's there. We get a lot of cameos. You can see in the crowd, there's Robot Santa, there's Robot Devil, there's Mom, there's Morbo and his wife, there's the Oompa Loompas. If anybody remembers that episode with, the Oompa Loompas and the slime, the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory parody episode. And there was Roberto and Earl and, what's his face? The human cop. Just, yeah, a lot of cameos. And also there was Bender's identical relative, I want to say, but with a beard. So basically, the ceremony is that they're going to blow up and destroy the Violet Dwarf, and Fry is selected to, pull down the trigger, and to destroy the Violet Dwarf once and for all. So when it comes to about to blow up and destroy the Violet Dwarf, the crowd gives Fry a countdown, and just Fry being so nervous because, he can't do this. He doesn't want to do this because, again, him being undercover and pretending to, work and serve Leo. And, he's saying in his head that, well, I mean, because, he kind of takes off his tinfoil hat. He can hear a lot of people's minds. And, he's saying to himself that he can't hear his thoughts slash, what he's saying in his mind, and he thinks that he might be the Dark One, but although he's not. And so the Planet Express crew come in. They have everybody, at gunpoint, raising their hands. And Snoop Dogg, well, him being present and saying, should we wave them like we just don't care? It's funny. And Fry confronting Leela that, she has no idea what's really going on. And Leela asking Fry, what is really going on? And Fry telling her that he can't tell her. And, why he can't? Well, because Fry can't find the grip to say something, and Leela, what she says is, "You're you, and that's all I need to know." And it's true, Fry is him. In fact, he said the same kind of thing to Leela earlier in the film. So, yeah, very sweet moments between Fry and Leela. Very nice. And then what happens next? Fry sets off the device, causing the bomb to go off. However, the wires are attached to the Omega device, and Fry has it on his neck. Like, he was gonna basically kill him, but nothing happens. And we find out that who the Dark One is, and the voice we've been hearing was from the leech that Leela had. Yeah, the leech was the Dark One the whole time. But then, what happens next is the asteroid and a star come together, and, they hit the violet dwarf. And basically, the star and the asteroid, they were an egg and a sperm. And with them going into the violet dwarf, it creates this, manta, space manta, I want to say. Definitely, because it looks like a manta. And basically, the manta, which being called the encyclopod, the encyclopod, on the encyclopod is is life. I guess you could say the encyclopod is like a ship, like a ship to a planet of living things. That's the best I can describe. But basically, what's on the encyclopod, and there's a dome, protecting living things. Well, basically, the encyclopod is carrying extinct species. There's, dodo birds and white rhinos. Yeah, really cool. And the encyclopod talking, and the encyclopod being voiced by Phil Hendry. And by the way, because Hutch Waterfall, he has a few words to say, and the leech actually attacked and killed Hutch. And the leech, he got defeated once and for all, and the encyclopod was this close to, bringing back the leeches to life, but yeah, missed the chance on doing so because Zoidberg finally ate the leech, because his first attempt on eating the leech, and he finally did so. And probably it was for the best, because, well, the last surviving leech was the Dark One. So yeah, the Dark One had to be defeated. So there's that. However, the encyclopod does recreate and bring back to life Hutch Waterfall, basically. And by the way, Hutch Waterfall discovered from Fry that, Fry had the necklace that came from Hutch's sister. Yeah, because Hutch is the brother of Frida. Yeah, because, their last names being Waterfall. And yeah, because Hutch, he discovered that on Fry's forehead, and yeah, after he discovered that, he died, and yeah. And it's a shame he got killed. But yeah, so the encyclopod leaves, and, well, apparently, Zap Brannigan is still, going to place the Planet Express crew under arrest and bring them in. But of course, the Planet Express crew does escape, along with Kif. Yeah, Kif joins with the Planet Express crew. And that's another thing, because a little bit throughout the film, Kif was going on, how much he misses Amy, and thus, at the end of the film, he's reunited with Amy, and thus, him joining the Planet Express crew, leaving and escaping, and thus, Zap Brannigan's ship chases after and firing at the Planet Express ship. And another sweet moment from Fry and Leela, them saying that they love each other, and the Planet Express crew comes upon, a black hole, I want to say, like a portal. And, if they go in there, then they'll be, like, far away, light years in the galaxy. And thus, they decide to go in there, and everybody chanting, go, 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 go. And, one more sweet moment from Fry and Leela. They share a kiss, and they go in the portal, and thus that's how the movie ends. And, as we all know, what would happen next, and leading up to the episode Rebirth. Yeah. A pretty good way to end the fourth and final Futurama TV movie. Into the Wild Green Yonder is a really good Futurama film, and again, for it being the fourth and final Futurama TV movie. And, as I said, what would come next? Because, Futurama would make its big comeback, with season 7 and, new episodes, and with, the first episode, Rebirth. Yeah, just really good. Into the Wild Green Yonder has some really good funny moments, and with, the cameos we get, just everything that's Into the Wild Green Yonder, everything about it, just really good. And again, for it being the fourth and final Futurama TV movie. And I'm giving Into the Wild Green Yonder 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Into the Wild Green Yonder. And what about you guys? What did you think of Into the Wild Green Yonder itself? What did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, this has been the week of me reviewing the 4 Futurama TV movies. And yeah, it was a lot of fun reviewing all 4 Futurama TV movies, as well as reviewing the series itself from seasons 1 to 10, and reviewing the crossover episode with the Futurama characters, with the Simpsons characters, all in celebration of Futurama's comeback, and I look forward to reviewing Season 11. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the 4th and final Futurama TV movie, Into the Wild Green Yonder. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video /review. Take care, and peace out.